crazy times. The world just needs a hero to help cut through all the noise.
Well, now you have two.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another amazing episode of your Heroes of Noise. I'm one half of this dynamic duo. My name is Steve.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You got Fog Brain with you today. My name is Dan Ramirez, and I think I'm a direct victim of this quarantine thing. I don't know what is going on with me today, but I'm happy to be here. Happy to be with Steve. Steve, happy birthday, sir. Happy belated.
Yeah, yes, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for all the wonderful messages. I saw them all. At the end of the day, I was like, oh, shoot. Got on the thing, saw all the wonderful messages, made me feel wonderful. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Steve was like, "'Tis time to address my audience.
Oh, don't
I shall provide them one like."
I wish that were the truth, man. I really do. No, just like everyone's just being so kind, so nice. In the quarantine, we're all still wonderful to each other. So what more can you ask for?
You have to be nice during the quarantine. We can go back to being assholes at some point, but now is not the time.
It's easy to be nice in the quarantine, so it doesn't count.
Do you think it's easier to be an asshole or easier to be nice?
It's easier to be It's easier to be nice because you don't have to be around people.
Oh, you're saying during the quarantine. I'm just talking about in general. As a person,
okay.
Is it easier to be nice to someone? You know what I mean? Or is it like an easier thing to be kind of a dick?
It depends on who you are.
I don't know.
If you're naturally a douche, it's just easier to do.
I don't really consider myself a douche, but I think I could be pretty good at it.
You don't consider yourself a douche? Okay.
No, I mean, like sometimes, you have to kind of breathe through to get the niceness. Sometimes you have to force the niceness. You know what I mean? Like people like someone, like for instance, Steve, like me talking to you right now and you just not really knowing what to say. I would say that you're forcing the niceness right now.
No, I think you're very, I've always seen you as a person that doesn't force the night. You've always been pretty like nice to people, even overly nice. I've told you that before.
I mean, look, let's not fuck about. I'm a great guy. I know that. But I'm just saying that.
That's going overboard. But
Hey, man, what did you do for your birthday yesterday?
Nothing. What happened was, let's see. Belle made me food. My mom came by, waved from the lawn. And people just sent me, hey, if it wasn't quarantine, dude, I'd come over and be like, oh, totally. It's totally fine. And then all the wonderful listeners. That's it. It was it's like having a birthday during the zombie apocalypse. It doesn't count.
So like during the day when you are waiting for your mother to come and wave at you or, a listener to give you a birthday greeting, what are you doing to occupy your time? Are you sleeping through it? Are you crying?
No, I'm working out, fixing my bike, went out back, sawed some tree limbs. That's about it.
Nice. I actually painted my daughter's room. I'm in the middle of that right now. I painted a bedroom, Steve. I masked it up.
What?
I'm sanding, like the trim and shit like that. I'm gonna do that afterwards though, because I'm trying to get her. I'm trying to get her in and out of the room as quickly as possible, or back into the room, I should say.
What color are you doing this?
It was blue, and now we're going white.
Okay, I thought you were gonna go. Okay, so it's going from a blue. She likes the white walls.
She's just, she's a kid that changes her mind a lot, so it's easier. It's easier with white walls. You know what I mean? Hey, real quick though, because before we start getting into this whole, the I took a shit at 10 o'clock yesterday kind of thing, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the Heroes of Noise podcast community, let me holler at you just for a second. We have a very special guest with us today. His name is Kevin Shanks. He's got a podcast called Toxcast. He's also got another one called Nobody Asked You, Kevin, which I will talk about because I was just on that bad boy. With us today from the East Coast, my man, Kevin Shanks. Kevin, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Dan? What's up, Steve?
What is going on, man? I can't wait. We're going to get into your cure that you have, the ideas for a cure that you have for this terrible virus later on in the show. So people have to kind of sit here and wait for that. But yeah, this guy.
Welcome to the show, my man.
Hey, I am happy to be here. I can't tell you how happy I am to be here right now.
If it was a number 1 to 10, what are we what are we talking, Kevin?
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Don't answer that because it might go low and then I'll get offended.
You're going 11.
Oh shit!
There we go. That's what I love to hear, man.
So Kevin came to play.
I love to hear.
You came to play.
Go big or go home.
So, Kevin, how are you functioning lately with this quarantine thing? How are you? Are you working or are you working from home?
I am working from home. Most of my job is desk work. So I have been working from home for the last, this is the 5th week. So I'm starting to go a little crazy, I think. But I've got a nice little setup here, and I think when this is all said and done, I don't know if I'm going to go back to actual going into work. I think I might stay here.
Wait a minute. Really? And do you have the option?
I think I do. Because my other counterpart that I work with, he is remote from Massachusetts 100% of the time. So if he can do it, I can do it.
Dude, what do we do? I would have never gone to work in the first place if the person I work with didn't work there. I'd be like, oh no, guess what I'm doing?
Steve literally would not leave his house if he didn't have to for any particular reason. He would not leave that house.
Heck no. And you've been going to work this whole time?
It's kind of been nice, though. It's kind of been nice. I will say, not having to leave the house.
Yes.
It's great.
But here's the problem. Maybe it's not a problem, but you work in a lab. So what happens there? Do you just change your work environment? I mean, obviously you're changing your work environment, but are you saying bye-bye to beakers and test tubes and shit, and you're just going to do more paperwork if you're doing it from home, or do they come out and build Kevin a lab?
That's a good question.
That's what the shed out back is for, to do my lab. No. I've slowly given up a lot of the lab work that I've had over the last several years, and I think this is going to push out the last remaining work that I have in the lab eventually, and then it'll just be 100% desk work then.
And you're good with it?
At this point, yeah, I'm good with that. I am more than fine. I'm over a lot of the lab work.
You're over the lab work sounds so like pouring stuff into random stuff. What are we talking about right now?
I pour stuff into stuff.
Pour stuff
Put
into
some shit
stuff.
in some things.
Beaker to 1 to beaker 2.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but it's
Steve just belittles the shit out of your job in like one sentence.
I really didn't. I just said his job would be super fun. I'd be like, wait a minute.
You do get a sense of it. It's like a mad scientist thing in like a movie or something where he's pouring stuff from beaker to beaker and colored liquids and stuff. And that's not how it is, obviously, but
okay.
It's just over time I've kind of gotten out of the kind of bench chemistry work is what I'll call it, and gotten into the more professional side of it. And a lot of that is going to court, testifying, talking to medical examiners and pathologists and coroners, and helping them understand what we do and what their results are, and how drugs and poisons and chemicals played a role in their case. So it'll be a lot more of that.
So you're basically, here's the thing. Like, first of all, when you're like, I have to go to court and explain to people what I do for a living, I imagine that's a day of court, a whole day, because people are like, wait a minute, can you please rewind the whole last 2 hours of our, like, a lot of normal people are just like, wait, what? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. And it's one of those things where it is a day in court is a whole day in court usually. And if it's like our lab, the lab I work in, we are a national company. So we have clients in 48 of 50 states. So that means I could be appearing in court in 48 of 50 states. So 1 week it might be Wisconsin, the next week it might be Tennessee, the next week it might be Florida, a month from now it might be California. I mean, it just depending. But of course, right now everything's canceled, so that's always good.
I mean, yeah. But you are literally, you can sometimes wake up with a briefcase and be like, honey, I'm on a business trip. Everybody just calm down. I got to take a plane. Just chill.
That is true.
Going on a business trip, everybody. All right, okay. You go to your normal jobs.
Kevin just walks in the courtroom like, yes, Your Honor. He's clearly guilty, Your Honor. He's been a victim of poison. That's right. They chopped up cherry seeds, cherry pits, and they poisoned it with cyanide. That's the kind of shit you should do, Kevin. Like I picture you. I think you should be the guy that hangs out outside of the courtroom and waits for someone to like say something so you can go actually and walk in and be like that.
No. Oh no.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the guy you need to be.
Yeah, we have to do that sometimes, unfortunately. I mean, we have to set the record straight and talk to people about, I mean, why drugs or poisons didn't play a role or did play a role. So, yeah, that
is amazing, dude. And I'm sure, like, being that you have to break it down to people that are just, you know, the people in the court, I'm sure that you're like, look, I can't just talk the way I would normally talk in my lab. I have to, a lot of times you have to unteach them something they totally thought for all their life. They're like, well, this poison equals this. You'll be like, all right, I know you've been taught that all your life. Let me take that away and tell you how this really works in your body. That's tough. Because I know in my brain, like alcohol levels and this and that, I have an idea in my brain of how that works. And you have to unteach it first, then reteach them the seriousness of the case.
That's true. I mean, that is a huge part of it. I mean, you have to talk to juries, and juries are made up of could be made up of anybody. And I mean, it's a specialized knowledge. I mean, I know a little bit about a very small section of something, but it's because we use a lot of acronyms and we use a lot of stupid words for things, and it's just kind of not trying to use those words and convey it as simple as possible. And unfortunately, shows like CSI and NCIS and all of those TV shows have kind of screwed us over a little bit.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that you get it in an hour.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you got those test results already, right?
Yeah.
Good, let's go.
What it's like on TV is nowhere close to what it is in real life. I mean, and that's not even joking about it. You really do have to go in and kind of tell people that. Because people are under the assumption that what you do, it takes an hour. You get a case solved within an hour. I mean, anybody in a lab can do everything. So, and you have crime lab chemists.
All you got to do is pour some shit into some stuff, right? And there's your answer, right?
One to the other. Hey, that paint came from a 1970 Chevelle, black color. That was mass produced in Detroit, Michigan, 1969. Yes. Those shows I don't watch those shows anymore, and I haven't for years because of that. They're just not. I mean, they're TV. I mean, they're good TV, and that's what they are. But I mean, yeah.
Well, I am shocked that you haven't gone on YouTube and kind of done one of those. You know how they have those movie or the short videos where they'll show someone on TV, and then they'll show House on TV and have an actual doctor commenting on how ridiculous the scene is.
Yeah.
Like, this is not how it happened.
Yeah.
They should have you be like, look, this is CSI. And you're like, this is in no way how any of this works.
Just fact checking.
Yeah. You don't want to see my face on any sort of video. I mean, that's.
Oh, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? You're a beautiful human being, man.
Yes, bro.
I spent time with you.
Got a face for radio. So.
That is not true. Shanks, stop it. Stop it. You need to start doing some videos.
Hey, gentlemen, if I may, and Shanks, please, if you don't want to talk about it, I totally get it. But two things that I don't think Steve is aware of about you. One is you're Twitter verified. Come on.
I am.
How many people you know, Steve, personally, that are Twitter verified?
I'm very well aware of that. I remember when I first got at it, I was like, look at Shanks with his crazy looking blue check mark.
See, Kevin trying to do a little downplaying of himself, but the man's Twitter verified.
No. He's that means, like, no, I pour serious stuff into other stuff. It's real.
Yeah, that just happened one time, and they never revoked it, so
That's crazy.
It came about because, I mean, I act as a kind of a source for a lot of media, or I did at one time for media and reporters on drugs and toxicology and forensics. And that kind of, I think, helped get that. But these days I don't really do a lot of that on Twitter. I do a lot of bitching and music and complaining about stuff. So
there's a lot to complain about right now, unfortunately.
There is.
Yeah.
Where do we start? I don't even know.
What now? You said there's a few things I don't know.
There's a
about?
second thing that I think kind of ties into the first thing. And again, stop me if you don't want to talk about it, Kevin. But this guy has actually gone on, was it CNN? And they're like, we're here with Kevin Shanks, and this is what he's got to say with his test tubes and pouring shit into stuff, right? Didn't you do that?
I have been on a couple of those shows, yes. I've been on some...
John, look at him.
I've been on some news shows, yes. That was years ago.
You've been on CNN?
I have actually recorded something for CNN and 60 Minutes and a couple of those other shows.
Oh, come on.
Big deal.
The 60 Minutes one was never used, unfortunately.
Yeah, why isn't that what you're doing, Shanks?
Yeah, good question. I don't know.
Like, that should be your thing. If you already have been on CNN, you might be like, I'll go on again. Why not?
Well, I'm bringing it up.
Like, that's how good.
I'm bringing it up. I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
No, go ahead.
I'm bringing it up for a particular reason because if you have, I mean, obviously you've gone on there. What's that process like? Are you doing like an ISDN line, or you have someone there putting makeup on you, or how's that work exactly?
They came out to our lab, and it was full video camera, full makeup, the entire process. And one of the stories for what was ended up being like 30 seconds on actually used, it was probably a good 4 to 5 hours filming. It was insane. Oh, wow. It was insane, the process. And with the bright lights and, but more often than not, it's more like local news and like the local Indianapolis news and those sort of stations and channels. When a new drug pops up or something, or they need someone to talk about something. Used to do a lot of that. Don't do it so much anymore, but I'm okay with doing it. But I don't like to be on camera. I'm fine with talking, but I don't like to be actually physically on camera. So. Oh,
word, man. I appreciate that one for sure.
Steve would probably look good on camera. I know that.
He's a good-looking guy. I would have to say he's. No offense to you, Kevin. I'd say he's probably the most attractive between the three of us. But let me just say something real quick.
Oh, stop!
No, I'm going to ask you a question. Don't get your big head. I'm just one compliment and we're moving along. Calm the fuck down.
All right. Well,
Have you ever been on television before, where you've been interviewed or anything where they've stopped you and talked to the man on the street and you've given your hot take or anything like that? Newspaper?
I have been in the newspaper. I've only been on TV, no interview. It's just when I did the seat filling thing, they would pan the crowd and like do close-ups and stuff. I was on the news before because they stopped me and my sister because they're like, hey, can you guys walk through the park again? And they videotaped it as B-roll for the news. They're like, as you can see, it's a wonderful day. And Portia and I are walking.
He's pointing at ducks and such.
Yeah, pretty much. Because the whole time I'm just like, I don't get why this is. And now, we were like, I was like 15 and 14. I was like, can they just use our images like this? Can I just sign away? But yeah, they used this as B-roll for a while for a park.
Couple of celebrities here, man. Wow.
Oh, I wish. Have you ever been on TV?
Well, I don't like to brag, but I remember when I was about 7 years old, my family won a raffle for Save Mart's grocery store out here. We won $500 worth of meat. So we were in the newspaper. That's the kind of small city, kind of small city that we were living in, man. We were like front page.
That would be heaven. That would be heaven to me, man.
Hey, man, that refrigerator was stocked for a long time. I remember that. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily $500 worth of meat. I know this is a fun story, but it was $500 for a grocery store. Pops was smart and he chose meat because he liked to smoke meats and such. And then I did do a commercial that actually ran at prime time for a hospital that I used to work for.
You were in a commercial?
I was asked on a Friday, hey, do you want to be in this commercial? We're going to do a series of commercials for this hospital I used to work at called St. Agnes. And I'm like, sure, yeah, that sounds awesome. Because back then I didn't mind taking pictures of myself and I'm stardom, so they're like, we'll see you on Monday. I said, awesome. Just happens that Ozfest was that weekend. So I go to, yeah, you know where we're going. So I had way too much fun at Ozfest, like way too much fun. And I was supposed to come home early on Sunday, but no. I think we got home around 3 a.m. on Monday. So I roll up into the hospital, just probably reeking of booze, just a fucking mess. And what it was, I had no idea what they were going to have me do, but I used to do x-ray at the time, and there's another department called CT or CAT scan. So they had me in the CAT scan unit, and there's like equipment in there. Nothing big now. Like now that I look back on it, I realize I was being a dumbass, but I didn't know any better. And they're just having, like, just touch the equipment randomly. So I'm touching all these things, trying to play it like a keyboard, but really it's like a one-button push. It's like when you watch something on television and you know that they're completely full of shit because they have no idea what they're doing, like putting metal near an MRI or something like that. Yeah, so I was that guy. But I got to do this thing where, I know what you're talking about, Kevin. I've been a star myself with the lights and all that kind of stuff, you know? So I had to do like 2 hours of lighting and whatever the hell they call that stuff, and they put makeup on my face. And what I had to do is I had to stand there. Oh God, what was the line? I think the line was something like carrying through technology, or it was just something like that. But so I did it. They go, all right, go for it. I'm like, carrying through technology. Okay, that's not good at all. So let's try that again. Basically what they asked me to do, and these are their words, is put some swagger in it. And I'm like, oh, what's that?
I love it.
I don't even know what swagger is, man. I just got back from Ozfest. I have no idea what you're talking about. So what it equated to is they wanted me to go carrying through technology. But when I did that, I kind of had to like throw a little bit of a head wave into it, a little bit of John Corbett, if you know what I'm talking about.
I have to find this.
I have it on a VHS tape, and I've been trying to figure out a way to digitize it. I just don't want to go and buy one of those things. Long story, sorry. Anyway, and then I had to cross my arms at the same time. So I was like, hey there, and I crossed my arms and I go, carrying through technology. Dude. And that was the take they took. And they ran that shit nightly for probably 2-3 months. I thought I was a superstar. And then it just went away. I'm like calling the station up, hey,
look at this guy
having this commercial you were running. I thought it was pretty fantastic. But then I got a bunch of shit too, because that picture that I was talking about where I was touching, it was an injector. It's literally a one button push and then you're like out of there. I was playing it like Howard Jones or some shit. You know what I mean? Like an 80s keyboard player. I had 2 hands on it. It looked ridiculous. I got a bunch of crap for it. But yeah. So you know what, guys, we're all stars. We're all superstars.
Well, no, here's a question, because much like Shanks himself, you do a bunch of button pushy things. Like he pours stuff in other stuff.
Yes, of course.
So what is your pet peeve on TV shows about your job that every TV show does? And it's like, that is not how it goes. Dan, what is that?
Oh, dude. I mean, I kind of just said it. Anything that has to do with healthcare is always wrong. So, for instance, you get a guy that's coming in. Pick your medical show. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like
House.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. ER, something to that effect. I don't watch these shows because they piss me off for this reason alone. But you got a guy that comes in, he's got behavioral problems. He's been acting crazy. And they put him in the room. Doctor comes up, hangs a x-ray of his foot up. Why are you taking a picture of this man's foot? He's here for mental problems. That's the kind of shit that they do on shows. Or they'll hang x-rays backwards, or the doctor will go into the MRI room and let me take a look at this. And he's got like fucking stethoscopes on and all these sharps and pens and paper clips and stuff that will just fly into the magnet and kill the guy, like literally kill the person in there. That's the kind of shit that bugs me.
But also, a doctor never runs the machine, right?
Never.
Every show has either House or one of the other doctors running that machine and no one else is in there.
I've met some awesome radiologists that, because most of the time they're just like, give me what you need, give me what I normally get, because they're just so used to reading the same things over and over again. But there are some doctors that will call up that are a little more badass, and they'll be like, you know what, let's run these alternate things and do it with these particular settings. I'm not going to bore people, but you know what I'm saying? They get very specific, and that's when, you know, they're true G's. Usually those are the neuroradiologists, though. They want some thinner, like slice cuts of the brain or something like that.
But if you walked in and saw a doctor at your control room,
get the fuck up, Jackson Brown. Thanks for keeping my seat warm, but you need to bounce out this piece.
I can imagine Dan walking in there, walking out, looking at the random address on the door for him to be like, wait a minute.
I do get to be that guy from time to time, though, because like you can't just walk into an MRI unit. You have to be completely, we do a metal detector on you. You have to make sure there's nothing in your pockets, even your wallet, because your credit cards will get fried, your key, remote control will get fried, all that stuff. And every once in a while, we'll get a doctor from the ER that'll come out. And like, we have picture like a railroad track arm that comes down. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we have something like that blocking the door, but we had a patient one time and the doctor's like, I need to get in there. I'm like, no. He's like, I'm a doctor. You need to stay out, doctor. I just told him straight up, like little punk ass doctor. And then he didn't know what to do. So I had to go out and explain it to him. But I'm like, it's okay. I'm sorry that I had to, embarrass you in front of your friends and shit, but you're acting in a pro.
We already had this conversation about doctors. Because in my opinion, it's harder. I would have a harder time learning what Shanks does than what a doctor does.
No, you would. No, you would.
He's got a thing against doctors, though, Shanks. He does not like doctors.
I'm not buying their profession at all.
Why? Why is that?
Because I believe that they want to charge you for 120 years of medical school, when if somebody just followed a doctor around for 3 years, I bet you they'd learn. If I followed you around for 3 years, I still wouldn't understand the chemistry behind it. I'd have to go and be like, wait a minute. How does this really... Like, I need the numbers behind this. I don't believe I'd have to do that with a doctor. I believe that they have books generally like, he has these symptoms. Let me look in one of my 100,000 books that align with these symptoms and see what thing he has. Y'all kind of have to know your chemistry and crap. I'm not buying the doctor profession.
I guess it probably depends on what kind of doctor. I mean...
General practitioner.
Yeah, general practitioner. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say anything about it, but I think that would probably be a little easier than something like a orthopedic surgeon.
Total. Now
talking shit.
Knee replacements and shit.
Totally. Now that's true. But a general practitioner, if someone's like, I went to school for 9 years to become this, I'd be like, I think you could have done that yesterday. But
Steve, like, I can name that tune in one note.
I could name that tune in half a note.
Whereas if someone was like, hey, I want you to do what, do you mind, do you put your profession on your pod, right?
My science podcast, yeah, I talk about it. And I've talked about it on the other one too, so yeah.
So if I were to say, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow Shanks for 3 years. After those 3 years, I'd know the directions to your job. I'd know that you pour things into certain things really well. And I'd know for some reason when you need this result, you do this. But there is no way, because you don't walk around talking about the levels and exactly what thing you're using. And you don't talk about that out loud. It's in your brain. Doctors kind of have to talk about that out loud to the patients. You're like, oh, okay. I get what's happening here, general practitioner. All right, I got what you're happening. They don't have to do MRI. They don't have to do any of that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I think I could do your job.
I like to look at it this way. Look at it this way. Like, I assume you figured that you both do your jobs to the best of your ability. Would that be a correct statement to say?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. You don't half-ass it. You put the work in, right? You got a little passion in your job. But we all know that other cat. Right? Right. I'm not going to call you out, Kevin, but I'm sure some time in your career, you've come across someone of your same status that just like, how did you get this job? Right? Maybe he's like the cousin of the boss or something like that.
I will just say that's a lot.
Yeah.
Seen it a lot. Not going to name any names, of course, but I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, talking to you, Jerry, in the lab. No, I'm just kidding. If there happens to be a Jerry, I'm sorry. I don't know if there really is a Jerry. But you get my point, right? So we can't just say that it's just easy to do a job, Steve. I think that there are people that will do the bare minimum, and then there are the people that go the extra mile and actually put some effort into their job. And there's a big difference there. I've seen that with doctors. Okay. I've seen those doctors before.
Bruh, I'm with you. But here's what I will say. That I'll even go further, Dan. You want me to go further?
Come on, man. We got room.
All right. I will say that I am more likely to learn what a general practitioner is able to do in 3 years than they are able to follow Kevin, you, or if I play somewhere, they won't be able to duplicate what I do in 3 years. We're more likely to learn that. They could not learn what you and Shanks do. No, not a freaking chance.
I would go out on a limb and say what you do. I mean, if you're talking about music,
I agree.
Being able to do that at the level that you do it is probably, I would say, more difficult than something like what I do or whatever.
Yeah, I would have to agree myself. I mean, I could get you trained. I can get anyone trained to do my job within a year. Now, I'm not saying they can do the exact job that I do and do it as well as I do it, but I could get either of you up and running easily within a year.
I could get either one of you playing piano in a year. Not only playing piano, playing it well. But that's not what I was saying following someone. I'm saying for a general practitioner, they don't have to have a conversation with me. I can just follow them for 3 years and be able to do their job. I could not do that with Shanks or you.
I think you, well, I don't know. I have to agree with Kevin. I agree with Kevin. I think that it's because not only is there's theory involved with what you do, you know, there's a mechanical skill, straight up muscle memory. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's notes to learn, you know, there's chords to learn. There's all that. There's a lot to learn. And there are people that I've seen play the piano for years, and they're not playing it like you, Hudson. I'm not trying to blow you up or anything, but it's not that easy being a musician versus people that are non-musically gifted or whatever and learning another craft or trade.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow, it's very conceited of you, man. Wow.
But I was specifying, that's why I was saying all three of us, we do something that someone couldn't follow and learn. A general practitioner does something that someone could simply if you're smart, you could follow a general practitioner and be like, at the end of 3 years, fake a patient into thinking, oh, you know what? I feel better after what he prescribed me, though. I feel good. Whereas I couldn't do that with Kevin or your, like how long have I sat in your rooms with you, Dan?
A long time, but I never trained you.
You
can't sit there and like, I know you haven't said what you're going to say, but I just want to say, you can't base that on just sitting around talking about movies and shit with me and laughing. You know what I mean? Like there's a job that I was doing. Yeah, I might have been on autopilot a little bit, but I know when to, you know, give my best.
It's impossible. What you do is impossible. The only reason you know how to do it is because you went to school, and it's crazy what you're doing. I've seen it. It's nuts.
It just looks cooler than it is.
I've talked to doctors, and I left the room being like, oh yeah, I could follow this guy and do what he does. No question. Not a question. Talking to Shanks, I know I couldn't. He said a few things already that I'm like, oh yeah, I couldn't do that.
I could. You stay with me for a year and a half. I could teach you all the chemistry and all of that stuff. You would do a fine job.
You would teach me. A doctor wouldn't have to. I could just follow him and watch him. That's how easy his job
is. I think you should do it. You should. I mean, right? Let's test the theory out. Just start following one guy. He's like, who? Why is this guy keep following me around? Sir, there's HIPAA. I can't have you in this room right now. No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm Steve. It's cool.
And I just have a pencil. He's like, I'm like, no, go keep going.
No, this is where you stop writing. No, go. This is private health information. You know, I'm fine. It's good. This is just all research. I can do your job.
And I'd be like, I assume this is something you say let me write that down. Do you say that to everybody that shouldn't be in here? Okay, cool. Private information. All right, good. Keep on going.
Hey, I say we test the theory. If you can work that out, I would really love to see Dr. Steve come out of all of this.
You know, it's funny. I think the same thing about lawyers.
Not mine. Shots fired.
I'm not going to talk about lawyers, man. Oh.
Listen up, Shannon. Come on, please, Steve. Tell me how you could do their job.
Well,
actually, you know what? Real quick, I'm sorry. Now that I'm thinking about this, you are the perfect candidate to be a lawyer. I have never heard somebody in my life argue more bullshit than you when I think of, like, you're going to win the argument whether you're right or wrong. That's just a strong debate skill that you have. Like I've seen it happen. Again, we've talked about this on the show. I have watched you argue with somebody about someone he knew and had spent years with that you've never met before, you'd never even seen before, telling him how she is, and won the argument.
That was funny, dude.
I mean, I kind of blame him for giving up, even though the shit took like 2 hours or whatever it took. But
you left.
I think, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not putting up with that bullshit. I'm going to sleep. But it's ridiculous conversation to begin with. But I will say this: if you were, seasoned and studied, and you could go and pass the bar, and yeah, maybe I'm not speaking in the proper terms, I think you would be an outstanding lawyer because you don't give up the fight.
all I'd have to do is at the end, I imagine all I have to say is, now picture the girl that just got beat up and imagine she was white. That's how you do it, right?
Oh, man.
Deep cut.
Case closed.
That's my movie right there.
I don't need to hear from the jury. Case closed.
That was a great movie. I remember seeing that movie. That part, everyone thinks it's corny. And that part got me. I was like, oh, that was genius. Everybody was like, I saw that coming a mile away. Did you? That was Matthew McConaughey at his best. Fantastic.
You're just taking all these great lines from movies and making it your own, but it's going to fly over a lot of people's heads. I think you should do this.
I would mess up and be like, hell yeah, I killed him and I hope he burns in hell. I'd be like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to say that.
No,
That's my fault.
Wrong one. Wrong thing to say.
My freaking. Did you see Matthew McConaughey's video on Twitter?
No.
He did the thing you hate.
What, when he's just rambling? Just rambling on about
No, the hitting on his chest.
Oh.
What the fuck is it with that guy? Like, seriously, is that really him?
I thought it was adorable, but when I was watching it, I knew Dan was going to be like, oh, it's the worst. Because he just starts the video doing that thing, and he's like, I know, thank you, Leo, to making me do this. Y'all are the one that made me do it, and it's now on film. I'm like, oh, Dan would hate this. He would hate this.
You know what, though? I don't really hate Matthew McConaughey. I just can't figure him out. Like, what is it, dude? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want?
I don't understand.
What do you want from us, Matthew? He's just pingy. You just keep on talking like this, and just blah 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 blah. And I don't think that if Matthew, now granted he's an older man now, but I think he's probably still a pretty good looking guy. But he would not have gotten this far with all that weird rambling bullshit if he didn't look like he did, right? Like if he looked like Gilbert Godfrey.
I don't think, okay, Gilbert Godfrey shouldn't, that voice?
Yeah.
If he can make it, anyone should be able to make it.
Well, that's voice acting. Plus, Godfrey's hilarious because he pushes the boundaries and says shit that no one else will say. It depends. It has to be your sense of humor. I find him funny as hell because I like someone that likes to make people uncomfortable.
You can get away with a lot of stuff if you are funny. I mean, Bobcat Goldthwait,
yes.
You get away with stuff when you're not a good-looking dude. My problem is I'm not a good-looking dude, and I'm not funny, so I...
Here we go, Shanks.
Listen, brother.
You're not going to come on this. No, you're not doing it.
Hey, brother,
you are a good-looking dude and funny.
No, really, I've seen him, Steve. He's just all... No, I'm just kidding.
Dan.
Listen, all I'm trying to say is I understand the whole, like, not wanting to take selfies and stuff. Yeah, I get it. But no, actually, I'm just kidding. Kevin's like a kind of a studly dude, man.
I like selfies. I like selfies, but I don't like when other people take my picture. I don't know. It's weird. I'm a weird guy.
Well, be ready because, look, you're verified. You have a record-breaking podcast. You've been on CNN. You be ready for some picture. Be ready to have a booth at post-zombie apocalypse Comic-Con.
Which I'm not going to until that shit gets cleared out a little bit. So I'll catch you on the second year of that, Kevin.
I probably won't go there either until this is for another year or two.
You know what's really sad, dude? There's a really good chance, guys, that C2E2 will not happen next year.
I know. I was thinking that too, and kind of makes me sad.
It totally makes me sad. After that experience, that was summer camp, man, and now we gotta wait and see all of our friends on the internet. I know Steve's the one that's the most busted up about it. Actually,
I am. I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. You really did.
Yeah.
You know what, Dan? That's fine, G. Oh, I wanted to ask Kevin Shanks. Shanks, are you gonna say all this clears out? Governors say life is fine. There's no vaccine.
Gates are open.
Are you going out? No vaccine yet.
Am I going out where exactly? Anywhere?
Let's say anywhere. Like say, we're gonna have Comic-Con again. No vaccine, but we
large group gatherings is what you're getting at.
Yes, large group gatherings. No vaccine though.
Oh, geez. I would probably say I would have to look at what's going on at the time. If we open this up and there's still hundreds of deaths a day across the United States, then no, I'm not going anywhere until a vaccine. But if it does trail off to now where they're reporting like a couple of deaths every so often or something like that, then I'll go out to dinner.
Wow. Even that, you're still shaking.
If there's a movie theater opened, if the movie theaters make it through this, I'll go to a late night showing. I'm not going to go to some sort of prime time matinee, anything like that. But
Can I ask you a question regarding that? Do you wear a mask?
I would. Yes.
Ooh, good question.
I think unless I'm eating, it's kind of hard to wear a mask if you're out for dinner or something. But I think if I'm going out somewhere, I'm going to be wearing a mask. Yeah. Which, speaking of that, I was actually out just before doing this today, and I had to run up to the local Target to pick something up that I had ordered because they didn't deliver it. They wouldn't deliver it. And I would say about 20% of the people that I saw were wearing masks.
Yes.
Which kind of makes me angry a little bit. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience yesterday, too. I went to the hardware store to get some paint. And they're implementing these rules, right? The social distancing rules. So you now, if you notice, most places you go to, there's going to be like little stars or spots or something that are 6 feet apart that you stand on. Totally down with this, right? It makes sense. This is what we need to be doing right now. But you're right. These people just show up and nothing. Sneezing. Don't sneeze around me right now, man. I know you have to sneeze. Everyone sneezes. And I'm not the guy that's going to shake my fist at them and I might give him a little look without even really being a dirty look, just kind of like a look of acknowledgement, like, yeah, I see you. But I would say probably, I would say it was probably 30% of the people in there had masks and everyone else was just walking around, just breathing.
Just crazy. Jeez, I mean, that's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, man. I don't understand it.
I know what it is. People are selfish assholes is what they are.
That is the number one reason.
That is a fair... Well, I think a lot of people haven't listened to the whole assume you have it. Or they have listened to it and be like, oh, well, I already have it. So I'm not even, but they haven't taken into consideration. Assume you have it and you don't want to pass it on. But Steve, they just might not care at all.
But Steve, you're leaving out the most important reason why these people are all going around like this. This is because they're all covered in Jesus' blood.
Oh, that's true. That's true. No, you're right. No, that's true.
I would expect you to know this. And I'm a little disappointed being that we just passed a holy day that someone of your religious caliber. Yeah, of course. And happy birthday again to you, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Happy belated birthday, Steve.
Thank you. The holy day.
Just completely took me out of my bullshit, but that's okay. But I don't know. I was probably just making a joke about you in church and stuff. But you know what I mean? Like I don't really get what's going on with these people, but I don't think that we're ever going to, because if we took all of this out of our day-to-day life and we no longer have the virus, let's just go back to pre-COVID. There are still those asshole, stupid people that do those things that they're not supposed to do anyway, right?
That's true.
I mean, it's just, just the way it is. So,
and we're never going to have a pre-COVID. It's over. Life is going to change forever. Maybe your great-great-grandson will act differently, but it might just be, no, what we're setting now is going to have effects for generations because it started now, where you give people the social distance, where more people wear masks now. It's just not, life is not going to go back to what it was. There is no pre-COVID.
Do you think people will be less affectionate, Kevin? Like physically affectionate?
In public? Yeah, I hope so. There is nothing I hate more than public displays of affection. God.
Ooh, hot topic.
Kevin.
And now the show shifts.
Well, there are some things I hate more, but I will just say that is on the list of things I don't like. I can't stand it when people are just all over each other in public.
Oh, Kevin, I think you just started a whole other segment, sir. Because now I was wondering how we were going to get out of this. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about something else. Because I have this thing right now with COVID where I feel like we have to talk about COVID because it's just it's like an elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's the elephant in the room.
But then I've been thinking about it. It's like, God, we've mentioned it like every single show. Where is that point of turning? Where, where's our segue? And I think that's it right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a segment I like to call "What Bugs Kevin."
A lot bugs me.
Let's get started, man. You've mentioned this one thing: public displays of affection. Now, I have to ask, what specifically is it that gets you? And I'm also very curious what Steve thinks about this.
I mean, it's more of the when, especially like when you're at a concert and this happened this happened this past spring. I mean, this past fall. I was at a concert, a metal show inside, and I'm like 3 rows back from the bar or from the actual barrier from the stage, and there's just these 2 people right in front of me, a guy and a girl, and they're just like, I mean, they're almost going at it their entire time. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm here at a metal show, I'm here to watch this band, and all I see in front of my face are these 2 people stuffing their tongues down each other's throats.
Were they attractive?
Yeah, I mean, they both were good-looking people.
Okay, I was just wondering if that factored in, if like ugly people made it worse or something. That's all I was asking.
I would think ugly people would probably make it more of a show. I mean, I'd probably end up watching it more. But no, it's just, I just can't stand just that. I mean, it's like when I'm from Michigan and Southern Indiana, so I see a lot of this stuff where you're walking into a place and the guy's got his hand down the back of the woman's like in their jean pocket, and they're walking in, and then like he slaps her on the ass or whatever. I can't stand that stuff. I just can't. Just can't do it.
Steve, what do you think, Steve? Like, is this a thing for you?
This is a shocker, because Shanks, he struck me as a very, like, hugging on his lady while they're out and about, kissing on her. You just strike me as that person.
No, that's
so
not me.
Wow.
What about you though, man? Is this something that you do? Because I've never seen you out with your bell.
Holding hands.
Where does holding hands fall, Kevin? Is that okay? Or I mean, are you that just fucking dead inside where people can't hold hands?
Oh no, I still have my black heart still beats a little bit. I mean, it's not dead yet. Holding hands is fine. That's more than fine. It's just don't be tongue fucking each other. I mean, really.
That's fair. Now, Dan, how are you with public displays of affection? Are you and Gail, do y'all like kiss each other, tongue each other down in public, or no?
Well, I'm not like, tongue punching her tonsils or something like that. But if we're standing in line, maybe we're having a nice day. Maybe we're out at the, let's go to Monterey. Let's hang out on Cannery Row or something. You know what I mean? By the ocean, watching some sea lions and some seagulls and shit like that. There is a very good chance that we might embrace and give each other a peck.
Because nothing turns me on more than seagulls and seahorses or whatever he said.
Hey, you know what? You just ain't seen the right ones, man.
I know. I probably haven't. I really haven't.
You need to get yourself out to California and check these bitches out, because wow.
I've been to California like 2 or 3 times in my life, and I kind of need to go more, I guess.
Yeah, it must have been off season.
You totally do. You totally, and here's since Kevin has a black heart and we're in the what bugs
Kevin and the Black Hearts. I like it.
Yes, him and his and you know what? We're gonna get back around to the random names of the bands you go see. Every time I'm on Twitter, like, guys, I just saw the mouse pad rocket launchers. Amazing. I'm like, okay, I don't know who these guys. And if I think he made it up.
Their sophomore album.
I think he just made up these names. But anyway. For the black-hearted Kevin, what's the last movie that made you cry? Not tear up.
Oh,
like weep.
Like weep?
Yes.
I'm a softie when it comes to movies. I cry at a lot of movies. I cried at Endgame. I cried in Infinity War.
Of course, that doesn't count. That doesn't count either. Of course.
I watched that shit last night.
A lot of sports movies, I'll cry.
Oh, tell me. Give it to me.
Disney's Miracle, the Miracle on Ice movie. I cried.
That's a given. Yes.
Of course, Field of Dreams. What else do we got?
I've never seen that movie.
I'm not a big baseball fan, but you need to watch it. I mean, I'm
gonna check it out.
What else? I'm trying to think. What else? Rudy. I've cried.
Oh yeah, yeah. That one will get you.
The quintessential Hoosiers. I had to cry.
Of course.
But a lot of it's like Pixar. I think like Up and. Inside Out was probably the one that made me the most.
I haven't seen that either.
With the emotions.
Yes. It fucks with your emotions because there's actually emotions. They're the characters, Steve.
That's pretty
So
cool.
it's really getting to your emotions.
And then
That's pretty.
I would say the last one would be the Onward. Just saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan saw
I was going to
that!
ask you about that one because I did watch that. Like, what got you? Was it the end?
Yeah, it was at the end.
That end messed me up, dude.
Yeah, it was.
You cried too, Dan?
No, I didn't cry. I mean, who cries at shit like that? But no, I'm just kidding.
Hey, now I'll be the first to tell you though. I do tear up a lot when it comes to movies, and I don't know why. I mean, it just I could be like that with PDA and stuff, and terrible. I mean, probably a terrible outlook on life. But when it comes to movies, I'm just a big softie.
Yeah, join the club.
I'm trying to think of the last movie that I cried at. I think it was the Mr. Rogers one.
Oh,
the Tom Hanks one.
Hanks. Oh yeah, that
fucking movie got me a little bit.
Yeah, that gets me.
You didn't cry on Portrait of a Lady?
No, I felt her pain though, and Jesus, don't even get me started again, man. Kevin, have you seen that movie?
I have not, and it's in my list of things to watch. So,
oh, dude,
you just better get ready, Mr. Public Displays of Affection. Because
gee, I was weeping. But then again, recently in quarantine, I think quarantine's messing with me because I've been watching these documentaries, these random documentaries, and I'll go from documentary to documentary to documentary, and at the end, when they've either succeeded or whatever, it gets me every time. Even though I know they wouldn't have this documentary and be like, oh, by the way, dude never walked. Kind of sucks, huh? Anyway, credits. I know they're not going to do that. But like, it gets me every time. I think it's just like I've had a chance to just be in quarantine enough that my emotions are just wide open. And it's like, yeah, I've been weeping at least once every other day at a movie.
That sounds like 2018 for me, Steve.
Yeah.
I wish I was joking.
That does sound very.
Sounds like the ass end of 2018 for me. And just to speak on that for a second, I think that obviously it depends on sort of what your environment is and what you're going through, of how you're going to like relate to these movies. Because I've seen Home Alone 10,000 times. You know what I'm saying? But during the ass half of 2018, when I was unemployed and blah, 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 poor me, I was just very emotional. So like the music got me in that one. When Kevin's parents come home, I'm fucking just like everything was making me cry. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation made me cry. That's how fucked up I was. So I really think, yeah. And I'm sorry, I don't want to like make it about me, but I'm trying to put it in perspective that I think that like what you're feeling at the time and how, you know, your environment is really what kind of contributes to how you're going to hit a movie. Your
current mindset, what's going on in your life. I mean, that's a huge part of everything. I mean, how you react to everything and how, especially movie wise. I mean, the part that gets me about Home Alone every single time, and I will tell this story to everybody because I'm dumb, but it's when Kevin, he sits down, he prepares that delicious meal of macaroni and cheese that he had gotten on sale at the store.
Oh, yep. I know where you're going.
He sits down and he's ready to take a bite and the clock chimes and now it's time to defend the house. And he never gets to have that meal. And that's the saddest part of that, because that was good looking mac and cheese.
I love mac and cheese.
Now, I'm wondering, because I know for me, when you say sports movies, does Jerry Maguire get you?
No, that does not.
Oh, freaking Kevin. Right when we're on the verge of bonding.
You in that movie.
Listen.
You had me at hello, police.
No, it's not that part. It's when he comes out of the room after he made that the locker room after he made that amazing touchdown, and he says, "Where's Jerry?" And they see each other. It's over, Jay.
You producing tears, or are you just getting kind of choked up?
I'm getting choked up for sure. Every freaking time, dude. Every freaking time.
Look at us. We're just some sensitive bastards. We are.
I think the only thing that'll get me like an actual probably tear, the most corny thing that'll get me other than the obvious like animal tweets, they don't count. But the corniest thing are the audience reactions for Endgame or for Endgame. Yeah,
dude.
Dan knows how often I watch these.
Those couple of scenes, rewatching those, I just get goosebumps and the hair stands up on my arms, and it's insane.
It's when that hammer starts lifting and you know where it's going. I wish I could take it back in time where I didn't know what was happening. And then the shock of Cap catching it. But I'm never going to get that time again. That sucks.
We're never going to have that sort of experience in a movie theater in a long, long, long time.
Oh, no. And also, since I have Shanks on the line, is there a concoction you can make that makes me forget in game for like 3 hours?
Now he's an alchemist.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, no, you probably don't want to be mixing anything up that would make you forget.
Okay, that's another question. Is truth serum real?
Yeah, that's you know that one, don't you?
Truth serum, as in, there have been drugs and substances used throughout time and throughout history that have been sort of described as truth serums. Certain barbiturates, certain other substances.
Alcohol,
that cause amnesia, cause anterograde amnesia, where you can't remember, you black out, or you can't form new memories while you're blacked out, obviously. But I wouldn't consider a truth serum in that way. It's not going to tell you the truth. It's going to lower your inhibitions to make you more susceptible to potentially saying something that you wouldn't. But it's not going to make you tell the truth. But there are certain things out there that you can, most of them are like depressants. They'll lower your inhibitions. Alcohol, opioids, opiates, benzodiazepines, barbiturates, things like that. Ambien.
What's the one that they use? I'm sorry, Kevin, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Is it like sodium something? Sodium antimol, or does that sound familiar?
Like sodium pentothal?
Pentothal, that's the one.
Yeah, that's also known as thiopental. That was the kind of the class, and it's a barbiturate. It's a classical one that was thought to have been a truth serum back in the day. There are other related ones like amytal, amobarbital, pentobarbital. Many of those things are used in the death penalty now, like executions.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, take it to another darker spot there.
Oh, yeah. That's scary. That is, and it's funny because, see, this is what you just heard, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I could totally follow a lawyer and a doctor and not Shanks. I could follow Shanks for 3 years and then get a call from a lawyer being like, hey, we have a truth serum case. I'd be like, I think it exists. Let me get on that stand. And it wouldn't be until I researched to be like, oh, crap. This crap doesn't exist. Bad news. I would totally think for 3 years that this for sure existed. That's the difference. Lawyers, no problem.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
Question for you, sir.
Sure.
Because I know we're going to get there eventually. So I kind of feel bad because when we started off, we're not used to having guests on regularly. You know what I mean? So every once in a while, I'll misstep or something like that. But I would like people to know where they can find you. People that don't know you from like Leftover Army or the community. Where can we find you? And what are your shows about?
I have Nobody Asked You, Kevin. That started out as kind of anything and everything on that show. But that one is kind of mainly music and movies these days. And I'll have guests on, which you were just on, and I haven't uploaded it yet, and that should be up this weekend. But where I will have a round of essentially 20 questions. And they're questions that aren't really yes or no questions. And they kind of make you think a little bit. But Nobody Asked You, Kevin's kind of about a lot of the kind of music and movies and kind of a lot of the crossover of music and movies. And then I have Dose Makes the Poison, the Toxcast, which is a now science-based, focused toxicology, drugs, poisons, chemicals, and then especially relating it to pop culture. So had one episode where we talked about the latest Netflix series, How to Fix a Drug Scandal. And that's about forensic science. And I had an episode about the toxicology in the Rian Johnson movie Knives Out.
I missed that one. I'm gonna have to check that out, dude.
So kind of talked about when he did the toxicology make sense. Did it make sense how they portrayed it? I mean, were there any issues with it? That sort of thing. But then I had an episode on cyanide, and I had an episode on Visine, like tetrahydrozoline, because that's an urban legend out there that you can poison someone with Visine.
Yeah, it gives them the runs.
That I do cover that, and that part is the urban legend. It does not give you the runs. It will totally screw up your cardiovascular system, though.
Jesus.
Oof.
Yeah, you don't. People, whoever's listening to this, please do not give people Visine as a joke. It's not a joke. It's been portrayed as a joke in movies and throughout time. It is not a joke. It is a serious thing. And it will cause some very serious cardiac and some other neurological issues potentially.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
Yeah. It's a very complex substance that leads to some very terrible side effects, especially if you just dump a whole bottle in someone's drink.
So how much does it take to have that effect? Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. And I would tell that friend, a few drops will do it.
Yeah, I'm just kidding, man. But wow, yeah. I didn't know if it was just like, squirting the whole thing in, or you see that in movies. That's why I was asking. Come on, Steve. I'm trying to ask a question here, man. You and your low-hanging fruit, sir.
A few drops will do you. A few drops will do you. I mean, for
little dab will do you. Wow. Okay,
yes.
Good to know.
So, out of curiosity, this is going to sound like a dumb question, so I'm just going to shoot it out there, because I'm sure some listener is as silly as me. How is it that you're able to dump it in your eyes, but you can't ingest it?
Route of administration is very important.
Okay.
And so how you consume it. So whether it's via like your eyes, the mucous membranes in your eyes, if you were meant to use it in your mouth, like on your gums or something, I mean, for another substance, but to the dose that you get when you put a drop in your eye and how it's absorbed into the bloodstream that way is different than if you get a whole bottle dumped in your drink, or even a few drops dumped in your drink. You then consume it. It gets absorbed via your stomach, and then gets absorbed into your blood that way, and then transmitted to other tissues and organs.
Oh my gosh, dude.
This is an honest question, and I realize it sounds ridiculous, but what if you boofed it? Would it be quicker?
Oh man, boofing.
Steve, are you familiar with boofing?
I have to imagine I know.
It's
exactly
the opposite end of
talking.
things. Yeah,
okay,
it's just
that's what I thought.
Yeah. Distal end of things. I
mean, suppositories and things like that work for a reason, because absorption is really good there. It's something like that. Said. It would probably.
Sorry, it's okay for me to say.
I knew that was coming there. I knew that.
I just Steve was lagging, so I figured I'd get it out there.
I knew, but it would work. It's just dosing would be completely different. I mean, I don't know how much you would even need to consume that way to have an effect, because I don't think that's been studied.
Now, you were talking about another chemical, and I forgot what it was, but I know what is the chemical that they drop in the gas chamber into the water? It's cyanide, right?
Yeah, there's potassium cyanide. Yep.
Jesus. What are we doing, people? What are we doing?
I have a question that I may or may not be able to ask you. Are you finished with Ozark Season 2?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so do you know where I'm going with this? Cherry pits.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any spoilers or anything like that, because if you haven't seen Ozark, guys, get on it. I'm tired of wasting my breath on you folks that aren't watching this yet. Anyway, you don't have a Netflix? I don't give a shit if you don't have a Netflix account. Just get one and do it, all right? I'm tired of this. Anyway.
Season 3, bro. Whew.
Yeah.
Anyway. Jesus.
I'm starting Season 3 hopefully tonight.
Oh, you're in for a damn right. Steve, was my rating accurate?
Okay. Your rating was accurate.
It's accurate as shit, wasn't it?
That mug was accurate.
Yes, it was.
Anyway, not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Kevin, we're going to have to bring you back for a bonus to talk about Ozark.
For sure.
And more ways of killing people with chemicals. Go on.
So since we're all familiar with the series, and there is something to do with cherry pits in the show.
Yes.
Is that accurate? Is it accurate, Kevin?
It is accurate. It is. I will say that there are foods that contain they are cyanogenic. When consumed, they can be the substances in those things can be converted to cyanide. So you do get. That's why you don't consume some of those things. You don't consume the pits. You don't consume peach pits and cherry pits and all of those, because apple seeds are very common. Because when you consume that, there is something in there that can be converted to cyanide.
Is it ricin or something like that?
What was that?
Am I saying that correctly? Is it ricin? Ricin? Am I completely off? Like
ricin is something completely different.
And that doesn't convert. I think I'm. You know what? Don't mind me. It's not my specialty. I'm sorry.
No, there are things called cyanogenic glycosides in like these plants and these foods that will convert other substances to cyanide in the body. So it's an enzymatic thing that goes on. But the ricin is something completely different, but it is a very potent poison. It is a naturally based, it's a seed, it's a plant, and it's it's not commonly used, but you do see it pop up every once in a while in ways to kill people.
Interesting, sir. Interesting.
Dude, we have turned this into your site, because now I have a question. I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking to a person who studies pathogens, and they were talking about how she's like, if you want to be scared, I can tell you how dangerous anthrax is. Mm-hmm. And I thought in my brain, I'm going to ask Shanks that one day. And I thank goodness that Dan brought up this poison, cyanide and all this stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about anthrax, Kev?
Well, I mean, that's kind of out of my territory, because that is a bacterial thing. That's more microbiology, molecular biology, but I mean, it's caused by Bacillus anthracis. I can tell you that.
You've already told us more than I would have ever been able to say.
Yeah, you're in over your head.
Me and Dad were like, we've already learned.
There's not a lot I could probably tell you about it, though. I mean, it is a very toxic substance in some forms. And the risk of death is high when it comes to certain exposures. If you inhale it, if you have a respiratory infection from it or respiratory exposure from it, I mean, your mortality, even with seizure or with treatment, is somewhere around like 50 to 80%.
Jeez, dude.
Now, if it's just skin exposure, which is, I think, where most of the exposures fall, it's like 20-25% mortality.
Still a lot.
Which is a lot. If it reaches, if you ingest it and it reaches your intestines and your gastric, you're talking somewhere less than respiratory. But I'm going to, off the top of my head, I would say 30 to 70% mortality. Even with being treated, because if you don't catch that stuff in time, there's nothing that they can really do.
That is it. So if you guys had a case involving that, y'all have to gown up and everything. Like if you're even dealing with it.
If we had an anthrax positive case, yes, we would take extreme PPE or personal protective equipment, like readiness for it. We would glove up, we would gown up, we would face shields, masks, and all that. I mean, we don't really have to worry about that. I mean, good thing. But for the normal pathogens that we do encounter, I mean, we don't do any testing for that sort of stuff because that's molecular and microbio. But we still have cases that come in that are positive for HIV, hepatitis C, positive. We've had, there are cases that come in that are now COVID-19 positive.
Oh my God, dude.
So you just have to use your personal protective equipment and use good laboratory practice and don't drink the blood. I mean,
Yeah, that's
always
the
a good
goal.
practice.
That's
Because I have to hold myself back often.
yeah.
Like, don't do this, Steve. Don't do it.
It's a tasty treat.
Now, would you say, Kevin, 17-year-old Kevin would look at Kevin now and say, this is exactly what I saw myself doing with my life?
No.
That's fair.
I would say no.
In a word.
Oh.
I honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I was always a science dork, but I didn't really. I figured I'd probably end up teaching somewhere in high school or something. And
Really?
yeah, and I mean, now these days, I don't know if I could stand being around kids that long.
Likewise.
Oh,
Even
yeah,
though
me
I
too.
do have a kid, I mean, I don't think I could stand other people's kids.
Yeah, you have to
It's always
tolerate
your
that
kid.
one. I get it. You have to tolerate
Exactly.
it. It's part of the deal.
Exactly.
You know,
And
we convince
you got-
ourselves we love them.
So you got into college and did a teacher like blow your mind with chemistry, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I took general
Yeah.
chem, organic chem, and then I just started really, really liking it, biochem, and then kind of fell in love with it after that.
Wow.
And
So you're the one. Most people are like, I cannot wait to get out of this freaking class.
now I didn't do well in those classes, but I loved it.
Wow. Really? You didn't do well in your chem class?
I was a C student in college.
C's get degrees.
Yep. I went from being like straight A student in high school to being like C student in college.
Really? And then you ended up going into the profession where you did okay.
Yeah.
And then just excelled.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
amazing.
doing okay.
I get the impression, though, that it was a matter of you getting mature enough to apply yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean,
That was me too.
I'm a year younger than what I would normally be. I think in my grade. So
Because you're smart.
I think there was some maturity issue there. I really do. And I probably didn't take a lot of it as serious as I should have. But yeah.
But look at you now.
Exactly. And see, Dan, you guys both have like you when at a Thanksgiving get together, if there's if you're around a table and it's going around the table being like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Like, people can say what they do, but when it hits you and you say what you do, how many questions you get immediately, Kev? Immediately. And they're like, whoa, like CSI. Like, do they go into that immediately?
Yeah, I mean, for me, yes. It's immediate. I can't tell you how many times I've had to explain that it's not like that.
Do you have a family member that'll like glorify what you do, like even more than what it is? Like for instance, my grandma used to tell everyone I was a doctor. She had no idea. She just told everyone that.
I do. Yeah, I do. And I have to tell people all the time that I'm not a doctor. And people still think that I'm a doctor. And I'm like, no, I'm not a doctor. Never even portrayed myself as one. And I go out of my way to say, no, I'm not. And yeah, it's a continual thing, but it's, I guess it goes with territory. I mean, people see what they see on TV and they think something. I mean, they're led to believe something is one way and it's not that way. So just got to explain to people it's not that way. All's good.
Well, when I first heard what you did, when I heard forensics, I'm like, oh, he's like at the crash site with the notebook. I know what he does. But apparently I was totally wrong.
Yeah, I've never been to a crime scene.
In my brain, you have the notebook with the jacket with some random letters on the back, and you're like writing stuff down, taking samples. I'm like, oh yeah. He knows how to get the what's the like that? Is that a 12 gauge or is it a 22 caliber? I'm like, yeah, I know what Kev does.
Yeah, I know very little about guns.
That is, in my brain, I just was like, oh yeah, he's able to kind of swab people's mouths and such.
I love the little references you use to, you put the Band-Aids on the fingers, don't you? This guy knows how to, use an alcohol swab.
Exactly. I'd be the old guy around the table to be like, so Kevin, what do you do? And you say the name. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're the dude that does this. Anyway, next question. Anyway.
Hey, if I may interrupt for a second, Kevin, gonna have you just take your earphones off for a second. We don't want you to hear this part.
Okay.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's give him a little time to get off of there.
Yeah.
We,
okay. I'm off.
We really Are you? Because you answered me. You're fucking the bit up, Kevin.
Yeah.
Stick to science, goddammit. But okay, so it's off now, right? So it's just between you and
me. Yeah.
You gonna let me talk? I'm just saying because I can't talk over that. What I'm trying to say now, you're fucking the bit up. This is a bad bit.
I'm sorry. Okay, go.
I was gonna say it's pretty dope. We've kind of jazzed our show up with all the science stuff, right? Like normally we're just talking about like dick jokes and music and stuff. Of like we're talking like we've actually made this edutainmental today.
I'm pretty sure he said like chlorodiazepine, and I'm going to use that chlorodiazepine, hydrochlorozepine, barbitolorozepine.
I'm going to talk about the beakers and burners and shit.
Oh, for sure. And then we could be like, when someone's like, hey, what about this? What's going on with this crazy looking COVID? I'll be like, oh, you mean the barbitolchlorozepine? Yeah, that's crazy, right?
But even better. Like we got to hurry up because I don't. He has to go pretty soon. But like. Now, like we can be like, well, actually, I know a guy that was on CNN talking about that shit. So I feel, you know what I'm saying? This is actually working for us, right? Okay.
Am I kind of like a forensic pathologist now?
I mean, by proxy, we might be. Is what I'm saying.
So around the table.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you ready? You ready back in? All right. All right. So, Kevin, you can go ahead and put those headphones back on.
All right.
Hey, man.
Back on.
All right, man. Sorry about that, dude. We just had some technical difficulties real quick. And we didn't want to blow out your eardrums. You know what I mean? Your cochlea and such. Now I'm using big words because I feel smarter around you.
Oh, I understand.
You know what I mean?
No big deal.
I got you.
It's no big deal.
But we'll get back to it. All right, Kevin. So we're going to do something real quick. I know you have a limited schedule. We got started a little bit later, and we actually going to have to get out of here pretty soon. But we wanted to do something fun. I'm really surprised that we didn't talk music with you more, but you're a very interesting cat. And I knew Steve was going to be like picking your brain big time. But I want to make right by this, all right? So how would you like to play a little game? We just had this. You would be the first person outside of us to play this game.
Oh, sweet.
It's called Stuck in the Middle with You. Do you remember the game?
I don't remember the game. You're going to have to explain it to me again.
You don't remember the game. Steve, I think since you created the game, I hate to put you on the spot. Would you mind just giving the rules?
Here's the rules. We're going to have a band of your choice, and I'm going to start these lyrics at any point in time, right smack dab in the middle of the song, and you're going to have to figure out what song I am playing from your favorite game.
It's not... I think you're really like for people that don't know Kevin, he's really good with music, really fucking good with music.
I don't know about this one.
No, dude, I would say that you could be on like. There's shit you talk about that I don't know, and I think I'm really good at music. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you're gonna excel at this. You're a smart guy. We'll see what happens. All right.
All right.
So Steve, you're gonna be up first, yeah?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Here we go. In the night, nowhere to run, nowhere.
God. Oh, God. In the night, nowhere to run, nowhere. Shoot. See, this is why I know. Oh, man, where... Let me think here. Because I don't...
Okay, take your time.
I'm thinking here. Oh.
Yeah, not so smart, are you, Kevin, huh?
I'm not.
We do this shit to take you down a notch, buddy.
Can you tell me what band this is?
This is Ice 9 Kills.
What the hell? In the night, nowhere to run. I mean, it sounds like I'm playing some of the songs through my head here. It's not American Nightmare.
Totally know what you're going through.
It's not Stabbing in the Dark. It's not the song about the crow. It's not the song about Edward Scissorhands.
Of course there's a song about Edward Scissorhands.
Texas, well, it's not about The Shining.
Do you want the lyrics again?
Yeah, give me one more time here.
In the night, nowhere to run, nowhere.
Oh shit. I think this is the only one I think it fits with that. No. It's not I was going to guess It Is the End or Savages, but I don't. It's Savages?
It's Savages.
Nice job, man.
Good job, man.
Oh God. That was
The full line is villains in the night, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Yeah. I had that playing. If I had that first part, I think I would have maybe gotten.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, tell you what,
Yes.
I have one for you.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you a little time. I'm going to give Steve a little time to cue one up. So let's make this
For sure.
let's make this easy. All right? Let's try an easier one because
Okay.
I don't even know if you're going to get the one I'm going to give you. So, what's your favorite genre? Is metal? Would you is that safe to say, or classic rock? What do you like? Like, what do you feel you know the best?
Oh, geez. I mean, hard rock, classic rock. I mean, some
It
metal.
could even be pop.
Oh, pop would be good too. I know my fair share of pop, but I mean,
Okay.
if it's anything like what just happened, I will probably fail immediately.
Steve, do you think? Let's go with something. Are you a fan? Like, pick something that you just know he's going to know, Steve. Like that everyone knows. Or do you want me to do that? Am I putting you on the spot?
You do it because I don't know you guys' style. Y'all both know these sort of.
Like, okay, here's a good example of what I'm getting at. How good are you with Metallica?
I'm okay, I would
You're
say.
okay? Who's your favorite band you know every lyric to every album?
Well, I thought it was Ice Nine Kills, but I thought I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say probably a Deep Purple, a Sabbath.
What's your favorite Deep Purple album?
That would be Deep Purple, Machine Head.
Steve, get on it. I'm going to play this game with him real
All
quick.
right. Go for it.
Deep Purple Machine Head. And while you're doing so, speaking of Black Sabbath, I got one for you. You ready?
I am ready.
All right. So this, and I'll even give you the album. This is off of Paranoid.
Okay.
Do you know that album well?
I know it. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. All right. Here we go. Let's see what I can give you here. All right. Here we go. Body's looking ill. To you, it's shallow.
Body's looking ill. Body's looking ill. Shit. Oh shit! That's Hand of Doom.
See, that was easy, right?
Yeah, that's Hand of Doom. That's Hand of Doom. That's Hand of
I
Doom.
knew you have excelled in this, sir. You've done very well so far. 2 out of 2. That's pretty damn good, Steve. He's kicking our ass. And we went, what did we go with? I went with Metallica, and you went with, what did I give you? Prince, right? And Stevie.
Yes. Yes.
So the more familiar we got, obviously, it was a little bit easier. So, but I'm impressed with this one here. I wouldn't have been able to get that. I'm just telling you. Let's see. You got one?
Yep.
All right. This is the third and last one.
What band is this now?
This is Deep Purple.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
If I don't get this, I'm just gonna. I don't know.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna get one that's okay. Here we go. All right. Maybe they don't even know.
Maybe they don't even know. See, this is what makes this so damn difficult.
I really think that Steve has a way of asking these things.
He does,
too.
and it's all in the way you say it. I mean, and gosh, let's see. Maybe they don't. God, I'm not going to get this one. I mean, I'm trying to think of this.
Let's give him another one, Steve.
If you gave me a line, give me a second line from that song.
I'll give you.
But that's the game, though, Kevin.
Yeah,
I
I
give
know.
you the second
I
line.
know.
You're gonna get it.
but let me give him the full line, and we'll give him half a point.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. How can they find me? Maybe they don't even know.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
That's how the game works.
As
buddy.
it should. I don't know. I'm not going to get this one. I'm not.
It is Deep Purple. Pictures of
Home.
See, you would think you'd get it, right? That's why this game is brilliant.
Yep, didn't get that.
I'm telling you, I don't. Yeah, I feel like I'm not playing it correctly because Steve, you're really good at this, and I don't know what it is. The way you read it.
Yeah, you
choice
are good
of
at
words.
this. You are good.
Let's see. Let's do one more here. Let's see.
Yes. Yes, man.
Now I know there's a band that you just absolutely cannot stand. We've talked about it before, but never on here. But it has come up to some degree.
There's a few bands I can't stand.
Yeah, but okay. Let me take this a different direction then. Who is the band that you cannot stand, but you know damn well you know the lyrics to their songs?
Maroon 5?
For instance, for me, it would be something like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, Chili Peppers? Maroon
That's just
5?
You know their lyrics?
No, I don't know their lyrics.
That's what I mean. Like, I guarantee you, there's one band
Weezer?
group. Okay. Do you have some familiarity, right?
I have some familiarity. Yeah.
Okay, let's choose Weezer because you really do hate Weezer. So it would make sense if you didn't.
And I don't know why I hate Weezer either, but I do hate them.
Can I tell you something?
That is so
Yeah.
funny.
I am going to say that Weezer's first album is a perfect album. What do you think about that? It is a perfect album. There's not one bad song.
The one with Buddy Holly and Say It Ain't So, and
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, those were some good songs. And then after that, they went totally shit downhill.
I agree with you 100%. But that album is fantastic.
Now, I will say that, yes, I did like a few of those songs.
He's playing it down, Steve. He loves
I
it.
used a Weezer song for you the other time, Dan.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Buddy Holly.
Oh, and I lost.
Yeah.
And that's weird because I can sing that's the thing, is that I can literally sing every lyric on that album, and I was unable to do it. How you did this. So, all right, here we go.
All right.
Make this easy. I'm almost making it too easy for him. I just don't know, like, it's going to have to be a hit, I assume.
Yeah, it will have to be one of those hits.
Okay, all right. Oh, God, this is the easiest song in the world. I don't know if you can do it because it's all chorus. Okay, I apologize. I'm going to have to do something else real quick. The song was Undone, and it's too easy.
Oh, the Sweater Song?
See, he knows.
I've never heard that song before.
Oh, I'm sure you have. I'm sure.
I didn't even know Buddy Holly was the name of that song.
You've heard the song, If You Want to Destroy My Sweater.
I never heard that song.
I don't believe you.
I've seriously haven't. The only song I heard from them is Buddy Holly. And that was because...
You've never heard Hash Pipe? Island in the Sun?
No. Nope.
Their shitty version of Africa?
How dare they?
Exactly, how dare they?
How
dare they?
Africa?
I'm not so mad at him.
This
is old news.
It's true. It's not as bad as it could have been.
Oh, if anyone redoes Africa, it is terrible.
I don't know about that. Reliant K had a good version.
I think you just made up that name.
Sounds like a 90s single
great?
hip hop guy.
The Hard Drive Mysticals. Awesome.
You're coming up with some good names. I'd use them. All right.
Shanks at his concerts he goes to, I'm like, that's not a real band. I love when you used to be like, hey, going into this band, I'm going in to see this band, and I'd read the name and be like, Shanks just made my day. This band name is the best band name in history.
All right, Shanks, I got you. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
So it's off the Blue album. It's one of their more popular songs.
Okay.
All right, here we go. And it's Weezer, everybody. Weezer, the Blue album.
Weezer.
Silence, You've Cleaned Up.
Oh, that would be God.
I'll give you a little time. I'm not going to sing it, and I'm not going to, I'm not going to phrase it the way it is. Silence.
Yeah, don't phrase it
up.
because I'm playing the way.
If I gave you two,
it's
more
not
words,
Buddy
you know
Holly.
exactly.
I know that for sure.
Nope.
And that's got to be Saying Ain't So, with the way it is. That's got to be.
You are right, sir. Good job.
Whoa! Okay, last
Dear
one.
Daddy, I write you, in spite of years of silence, you've cleaned up, found Jesus. Things are good, so I hear. So good job, man. I suck at this game, apparently.
All right, I'm going to give you, this is again from Ice Nine Kills.
Okay.
All right.
Is it from the same album? Same album?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Here we go. Be the softer the skin.
Oh,
to me that sounds easy. I don't know why.
That's Love Bites.
Nice job. Done.
It's
well done, Kevin.
American Werewolf.
Oh,
see, now he's showing off. That song's about the American Werewolf in London?
Yes.
See, maybe
I don't like that.
Well, no. Maybe this is like a good entry point for you, Steve.
Because it talks the softer the skin, the sharper the teeth. If I remember correctly, with nowhere to go, nothing to believe.
Something about the berry and the juice.
Something about beauty to kill off the beast. That would be Love Bites, because that's my second favorite song from that album.
Well done.
Perfect. Nice job. That was a good round.
He kicked ass, but he's also
Yes,
Kevin
I
Shanks.
think he's the dude. You know what? I should have asked him some chemistry questions.
I'd fail all of those.
That's not, you just named 800,000 random chemicals off the top of your dome. You're like, I don't know much about anthrax. I do, however, know who found it, where it was this, how it was. I was like, okay, you know something about anthrax.
Kevin fucks with the periodic table, don't you? You know all that?
Yes.
You know the whole periodic table?
No, absolutely not.
I
No,
don't believe you.
no, that's one of those things that you have to, you don't need to memorize that. No reason to. It's in a book.
That's what doctors do. I'm telling you, most of what they do is just like, you're sneezing. Let me get my book out from sneezing.
You know, one of these days, I hope this isn't true, but one of these days you might need a doctor.
I won't need a general practitioner.
But you're going to be in your head about it now is what I'm saying. You're going to be like, does this guy even know what he's doing?
Well, no, here's the thing, dude. It's one of those things where, like, I love my doctor. She's amazing. But what she does is like, okay, cool. You seem cool. Checking out your weight. All right. We're going to send you to other people to do the rest. Go to the lab to get your blood drawn. They're going to read the results, give it back to you, and we'll discuss it. I'll be like, I think that we both did our physical together then. We were involved together in my physical. I did 50%, and so did you.
So simply, all you really need is a doctor that's HMO. And you're good to go, right? That's all you really need. You just need someone to go, oh, you need this, and I will refer you to someone that is smarter than I am.
Game over.
And that's what you prefer? So you don't want a one-stop shop?
No, here's what I could do. I could take my own blood pressure, take my own weight, go to the lab, get my blood work done, and get it emailed to me. And I could be like, I think we just got the same results. I think we could, let's look at chart for chart.
We work at the same place. How are you making these rules up? This shit does not happen. No, you know what, Doc? Don't worry about it. I'll take the blood pressure myself. It's okay, buddy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
you look tired.
If I could give myself a physical, though, if they just let me, and I think we'd come up with the same results.
I heard you like to give yourself physicals. That's what you call a bad joke. No need for laughing, guys. It's okay. It's okay. Really. I appreciate it, Kevin, but I appreciate it. It's not a big deal.
I think I have to do that thing this year, dog.
You know, you might be surprised. By the way, yes, again, happy birthday again to Steve Hudson, who turned the magical number of 42. I thought so, just making sure. So I'm assuming that you are referring to the digital exam.
Yes.
You want to get close with your doctor.
I don't want this at all.
I have good news for you.
What?
If it's the doctor that I'm going to, nothing's going to happen. Like, I went to the doctor, said, I don't know, doc, I think I might have COVID-19. He's like, well, let's go take a stool sample.
Stool sample.
Yeah. No, for real. That's a true story.
So in all of your physicals, they never did the digital situation?
No, actually, that was a true story, but it had a lot to do with like the supplies of tests at the time and all that stuff. But anyway, I went to the doctor at 42 and I was ready, Jack. I'm like, oh man, all day long, I'm dreading this shit. Like, here we go. It's that magic moment, you know? And I prepped, I ate well the day prior, Steve. I drank lots of water.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? I took care of myself. I actually went to Walgreens beforehand because I wanted to freshen up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a big deal for me. Big day. And get in there and I'm like, all right, doc. He's like, okay, so you're here for your physical? Yeah, let's just do this shit. And I'm like ready to like take my pants down and everything. And he's like, oh, no. We're not doing that today. We can just do a lab, like blood work on you and get your what's called your PSAs, and you really don't fit the category just yet. So that may happen to you. And I was like, what? He's like, I could if you want. I mean, you obviously look ready. I'm looking like I'm like a cop's got me against the car, hood of the car. I'm just spread, ready to do this shit. Spread was a bad word, but you know what I'm saying.
For sure. Well, yes.
But no, so you may not have to do it.
I hope not. I'll probably just jog to the office and be like, it's kind of clammy down yonder.
Oh, hey, doc, just so you know, a little swampy today. Got some back fragrance for you, but you're a doctor. You've smelled worse, right?
Anyway, put on your mask. Let's do this thing.
I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
Have you ever had that the digital situation, Shanks?
No, I'm not that old yet.
What about in your personal life there, Shanks? No, I'm just kidding, man.
I'm 38.
Oh, look at this young.
I'm getting there. I'm getting up there, but I'm not that old yet.
Look how young Shanks is, G. I thought you just looked young.
I have gray hair everywhere, man. I don't know.
Will you stop it?
This past year, gray hair, man. Oh.
Well, that's how it's I know my gray hair started like 7 years ago, and it just never and then in my beard, I shaved my beard, man.
Oh, you did? What happened? You quitter.
I didn't quit. It was combing through it became. I forgot how nappy my hair is.
Okay,
my crap hurts.
That's a good answer because it's pulling on your face. That's
Yes, it's like clink, 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 clink. So I still have my goatee though, so I kind of look like Shanks.
It's all gray.
No.
See, that's why I can't grow the facial. I mean, I can. Don't get me wrong. I grow the shit out of facial hair, but I'm telling you, I age like 10 years just like by growing.
You look George Clooney.
Okay, bro. The last time, I'm glad you said George Clooney, because the last time you saw me with the beard, George Clooney, like, you mean Salt and Pepper is what you're getting at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, them days are gone. Like, I look like fucking Steve Martin now. I don't know why. I just grayed out. My dad was the same way. He grayed out early, but I feel like I've really grayed out early, and it's kind of crazy, so I can't do that stuff anymore. It's a vanity thing, Steve.
You're still young.
I'm not saying I'm not. I feel great. But I look old as fuck if I grow my beard out. It looks like Santa Claus.
When's your so you're gonna next year? Did you just turn 38, Shanks, this year, or is it next year you're turning?
I'll be 39 in October.
So what's happening next year for your freaking 40th, bro?
Probably not a lot. My wife just turned 40 yesterday.
You're like, I didn't do shit. So
well, and there's not a lot we could really do.
Yeah, I know. You can't really go out and celebrate or anything like that.
Yeah.
She's going to get you on a technicality, buddy.
Probably.
Like, well, I don't recall anything happening on my 40th birthday. So, but babe, like, COVID-19. Yeah, that's whatever. You could have done something special.
If she plans a surprise birthday party, she's going to be talking about everything she did. She'd be like, yeah, cake, huh? Friends I invited. Things we do for 40th birthday. Anyway.
She's going to get you a grocery store cake and make them purposely misspell your name. You want to know... Speaking of like planning 40th birthday parties, Steve, nothing's ever come about what you had originally planned. Like, you're not going to extend it to your 44th or something like that when you're planning your 40th birthday party. Get a load of this, Kevin.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm letting you know right now. Here's what one day, I'm telling you, I'm getting new addition to my party.
They're going to be old edition by the time you get that shit.
I don't care. They're doing If It Isn't Love, and then they could leave.
What about just like BBD?
No, I want the whole If It Isn't Love, Ralph Tresvant and all them cats.
How are you going to work this out though? How are you going to facilitate this plan? I just got to know.
My goal is to sort of get on a, like, okay, oh man, I'm glad you asked me.
Like maybe once we get Cher on, we'll have the clout. Is that what you're getting at?
Here's what we do. I start dropping them little compliments on Twitter.
Yeah.
Little, so that they're familiar. And then one day I'm like, hey, we have a show. You want to come on? They come on the show. We're gangbusters. They're like, this Steve and Dan guy. I mean, wow, they're really cool. We're buddies now. We're chilling, talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I'm calling them, texting them sometimes. I'll be like, hey, man, my 44th is coming up. And they're like, oh, really? Maybe me and the fellas can come. I'd be like, dope. They come. I get on stage, I put on the karaoke, I start doing If It Isn't Love. I'm so bad at it that they're like, wait a minute. Why don't we just do it? Next thing you know, accomplished.
DJ's just ready, just happens to be ready with their material. Boom. And everything.
Next question.
Nice,
homie.
Okay.
You like that?
In the right key because they can't sing high anymore, so the DJ's actually got the lower keyed music and everything.
I know, If It Isn't Love. I'll be like, what the crap? It's just like Elton John. He'll be like, when are you going to come down? I'm like, geez, that is not the key of that song.
Elton can't sing anymore. That's my hot take.
Hey,
hey, real quick. Hey, I'm sorry. Okay, yes, please. Tell me what you think. Please.
I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to. We're not doing this.
Because he can't sing anymore. Come on, man. Yes, it's true.
No, it's not. He sings in a different key.
Dude, Elton John can't sing anymore. Have you ever seen that? I know, granted, this was a Snickers commercial, but have you heard him did you see that Snickers commercial?
No.
He was doing a Don't Go Breaking My Heart, and he couldn't even sing that.
Dan, I can tell you right now, if he started singing Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, he'll do a you'll know that it's Elton John singing it.
I'm not
Meaning
saying that he
sings about
can't
the same.
physically sing anymore. Like, he has a voice and it comes out of his mouth into a microphone and projected over amplifiers. I'm just saying, okay, let me put it into a better example. He's kind of like Sting now. He's still singing the songs, but he's doing it in a way that's not the same anymore, and it doesn't sound good because that's all he's got. I'll tell you,
Bon Jovi's that way.
Ugh.
Cannot his voice changed so much.
Fuck Bon Jovi so much.
Well,
no, I went to their, listen to this. I went to their tour. Someone said, hey man, you want to go to a Bon Jovi concert? I'm like, I literally have not been to a Bon Jovi concert since like Slippery When Wet. But sure, I'm going to hang out with my dog. We're going to have some fun and some beers and whatnot. And it was a really fun time. However, we spent the majority of that time walking the court, or whatever you want to call that, the roundabout in the arena, because the show was so bad. They ruined every single song that they played. They changed the like the melody of it, you know what I mean? Like they changed the tempo of it, or they dropped it or whatever. They drop a lot of their songs now because of his voice. And then they didn't even have Richie Sambora anymore. And when you take Richie,
that's not Bon Jovi anymore.
You know what I'm saying, right? Like Richie Sambora is a huge part of Bon Jovi. He's kind of the reason I said, okay, I'll go in the first place. You know, even though it was free, still a fun time. But they had some other clown up there who did a decent job. But you know, there's something about watching like not Richie Sambora, anyone but Richie Sambora go, whoa, 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 whoa. You know what I mean? So played terribly. And the name of their tour, like again, every single fucking song was just horrible. This isn't just Dan's opinion. Other people were saying this that night too. The name of the tour is Because We Can. That's fucked up. That means, that just means, we're going to go out and play shit music because you'll pay for it. And because we can. That's what I got out of that. That Bon Jovi's terrible live now.
Well, it's hard when you change the melody of a song, or the groove of a song. The only person that's done it, and I want to hear Shanks' opinion on this, the only one that's totally changed the melody, rhythm, and everything on a famous song, got away with it, was Eric Clapton.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think we gave him a pass considering. I think we all were just like, "Aw, he's sad. So let's just let this go." Right?
Well, I don't know the you know, like the order of the songs. But if he played Layla, and then you're like, okay, that was all right, I guess. You know, it's acoustic, it's fine. And then he plays Tears in Heaven. Can you really hold it against him?
No, and we all walked in there knowing what was happening. So when he did Layla, I'm like, yeah, you can't sing a fast Layla knowing what we know. It would have been weird.
Yeah,
like, why are you so
it was
happy?
It had a somber tone the moment you bought the ticket.
Yes,
true.
So I think we gave him a pat. If he would have done that in a concert, I think we all would have been like, boo. But since we knew what happened to him, we all were just like, you know what? Let's give this cat a pass.
Good way of thinking about it, because that version of that song, we've just come to know it now. It's commonplace. You hear it, you don't even think twice about it anymore. It's just the acoustic version of Layla. But it's a good version. I'm kind of working this. No, it is. It's a good. I think it's a good version. It's fine, is what I'm getting at. But
yeah, it's a normal song taken from a legendary song.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
That
any
makes
other
it a
situation,
bad
I don't
song.
think it would have passed. Yeah.
No, we gave him, we're supposed to give people a pass when their baby falls. We're supposed to be like, you know what? Sing the sad song. We're perfectly fine with that. But I think that's the only person that's gotten away with it. Anyone else that's totally changed their song, we're just like, I'm not trying to hear the Puff Daddy remix of Just the Way You Are at a Billy Joel concert. I'm like, no. Just do it the normal way and we're fine. We're fine. You know what I'm saying? I know Shanks ain't trying to hear like a remix from the Laptop Junkies. He wants to hear Laptop Junkie hits. He wants to hear their hits from their fire.
You don't want that new shit.
exactly.
Laptop Junkies.
I put Laptop Junkies in the same category as Weezer.
No!
He's like, fuck Laptop Junkies.
All right, it's kind of late, man. I'm sure we've gone past time.
All right, well then, shall we wrap it up?
Let's do it, man. We got to get him on for the bonus.
Well, Kevin, will you come back for the bonus, man?
I will
At
come
any
back
point in time?
anytime you want me to come back.
We would love to, because I'm telling you right now, we did not talk enough music. We obviously didn't talk any movies or anything like that. And I know that's a huge part of what you do every week. So
yeah, because I do have, I mean, we'll get into this at a later date, but I do have a bone to pick with you about July 4th, the American Independence Day that you brought up the last episode.
Oh, real quick. No, we can do this, please.
I actually don't have time to get into that because that's going to be a long, drawn-out story, yeah.
Is it to Dan? To Dan you have the bone to pick?
Well, whoever basically said it was lame is just
I
wrong.
said that?
That's me.
No,
That's me.
well, we both did, actually, at different times.
Yeah,
I think I
both.
said it most recently.
No, but that'll be a story for another time.
All right.
And then Peebo Bryson. I just wanted to say something about Peebo Bryson.
All ready for that. What's up?
That's the perfect, I mean, in that comparison there that you guys were doing, it's Peebo all the way. All the way. And then, but then you add in the fact that, I mean, he did A Whole New World and Beauty and the Beast, 91, 92. I mean, Peebo Bryson is the answer to any question that involves a comparison between Peebo Bryson and somebody else.
I will definitely have, I can't say that. I think both Stevie and Donny Hathaway could blow him out of the water.
Stevie.
Oh, here we go.
I could, yeah, I'm not going to argue about Stevie.
Stevie can blow him out.
It's pointless, even if you were right.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue about Stevie because
I've got a great question.
Before we go, this is the last one.
Yes. I'm sorry, but okay. Kevin and I were talking about this the other evening, and we've kind of talked about it on our show too. But I'm going to create a situation that's completely fictitious.
Yeah.
All right. Stevie Wonder tomorrow, God forbid, gets he gets charged with, like, say, child molestation. And okay, so now this case runs for a good year. Let's say 18 months. All right.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you two scenarios. They might be the same, but first scenario, he's convicted guilty. Okay.
Ouch.
Second scenario is more of a Michael Jackson situation where, you know what I mean? There's a stigma. Maybe there's a couple of, a couple documentaries come out. Some, people come out and say their case against him. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So first scenario, well, actually, no, you can answer them both. That's the case. Well, I guess we have to do scenario. So the first one is he is convicted. He's found guilty of child molestation. Do you continue to celebrate his catalog?
Okay, here's the rules. Here's the rules that I've realized that are logical for humanity, okay?
Okay.
I believe that at the point of you have been found guilty or people know you did it, you can no longer celebrate their future endeavors. You cannot fund concerts or go to this thing or go to that thing, but you can celebrate what they did before you knew that they did what they did. Like, we shouldn't be going to Roman Polanski films.
Right. But would you watch older Roman Polanski films?
Yes, you can, because you celebrated it while you didn't know. Now, you can't do it at the point where you knew he did this thing, because that's pretty much set in stone. You shouldn't be celebrating movies after that. No. Mm-mm. No.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable? Same scenario, he is convicted now. Okay? He's serving time. He is Bill Cosby.
Yes.
Do you tell people that you're listening to the music? Like, in other words, you're driving down the street and you're just cranking Stevie. You come to a stoplight. Sure. Do you turn it down?
No. I like right now with Michael, I still be like, automatically. That's not even a problem. What are we talking about right now?
So then I guess it answers the question then of basically you're just pro Stevie all the way.
But then if he gets convicted of a crime, I can no longer go to his concerts or anything. I wouldn't do it.
What if you loved the album? Let's say he just released an album, right?
Yes.
Just came out, hot as shit. Yes. Like somehow, like how did Stevie do this when he was doing that back then? But somehow he's managed to do it equally as good as his younger days.
Yes.
Drops, hot as shit. You're telling everybody about this album.
Dope. Let's rock.
And I realize things don't work this way, but just humor me for the sake of the podcast. And then the next day you find out that he's convicted of child molestation, whatever.
Found out afterwards. I found out he was convicted afterwards, so I can still listen to the music.
So you will continue to listen to the current album? The album that he probably recorded while he was molesting children?
Okay, but I found out afterwards. But if he now records an album after it's been set in stone, you can't listen to him.
What if one of the album's lyrics is like, "Little girl, hold still.
The Beatles do have that lyric pretty much.
I'm just saying. I mean, I wasn't even trying to be gross. I'm just saying, like, it's something that is, like, you can read into it. You know what I mean? Do you feel right about listening?
If he wrote a song being like, yeah, I did this nasty junk and I got away with it, yeah, I'm not going to listen to the album. But
I love little boys, make me feel so good. You're listening?
Yeah, I'm not listening to that.
Okay, I was just wondering.
But yeah, there are rules. But like with the Cosby Show, people still watch the Cosby Show. You're not going to sit there. If he comes back and goes on tour and you go to one of his tours, I'd be like, you're kind of gross, dude.
Well, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about Bill Cosby and Bill Cosby himself and everything like that. I'm really fine with dumping Cosby in general, but I have to say that Bill Cosby himself is just fantastic. Dude, and I don't know how to feel about it. In the Cosby Show, yeah. And I think it had a lot to do with how. I'm sorry, say again?
No, go ahead.
I was just saying that I think that it for me it's a little easier to dump that because of the time of when when the Cosby Show was out, I was watching it, but I wasn't watching it weekly. It was just I was out doing other things. So I don't have as much allegiance to that show. But of course, Bill Cosby himself's a whole different situation. All right. I just wanted to know.
That is all right, cool. And we're gonna re-up this. And Kevin, if you ever need a scientific professional on your show for science, I'm available. You know, CNN's been bugging me a little bit.
I will call you up, Steve. I will call you up and you will come on.
I appreciate it. And I'll give you some,
You're gonna put some liquids into some things and such, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll tell them about the truth serum. My theories on it.
Hey, I would love that. I would love that.
From what I got from Google. Anyway.
Hey, Kevin, before we go, can you please let everyone know where they can find you on social media and whatnot? I know you talked about the podcast. Feel free to talk about it again. But the social media, hook them up.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Forensic Tox Guy. You could find, I'm linked to my shows on there as well. On Facebook, you can look me up on Facebook. My name, I'll friend you. I mean, I'm friends with a lot of. I don't really decline friends unless they're get into some certain things we won't get into here. But now, let's see, Facebook, Twitter, podcast. Nobody Asked You, Kevin, and Dose Makes the Poison, the Toxcast. Find those wherever you find your podcasts. They're pretty much everywhere.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on, Kevin. We've been meaning to do this for a long while. You probably know because you listen. We talk about you often on the show. So it's nice to finally have you on the show, man. And of course,
you are probably one of the most talked about people on the show.
For real. That's the truth.
Comes up all the time.
What would Shanks do? I have a bracelet around me. It says WWSD. What would Shanks do? So you're very, very important to us, sir.
I thought it was Steve.
Sweet.
Sorry, I don't mean to. Well, it works both ways, but really, I can be honest about it now since the man's here.
I appreciate that.
And of course, Kevin, just on a personal note, man, I feel a lot closer to you since we got to hang out at C2E2. Consider you a friend, and you are always welcome back on the show, brother.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun at C2E2. So
such a good time.
Glad I got to meet you. And I'm sad I got to miss out on Steve.
Yeah, everyone is. Everyone's really sad about that, Steve.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You think I'm lying. You came up quite a bit.
Okay, I feel you.
Okay, make yourself feel better. But I'm just telling you a fact, my friend. My cackling friend. Steve, take us out, bro.
I love y'all. I got to chill with Shanks and Dan Reezy today. What a wonderful day. This literally made my birthday. I had a great time today with the dude schooling me on barbital chlorazepine. And I know a lot more about Visine, whose drink I'm going to put it in because I ain't trying to have so many people in the world anymore.
Yeah.
I love y'all. Peace out. Talk to you later.
And apparently I'm Dan Reezy now. So we'll go with that one for today. My name is Dan Reezy, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the Heroes of Noise podcast. You just listened, but you're still listening. So I'm just being real with you. Thanks to Kevin Shanks for coming on. We had a great time and we welcome him back anytime. People, we're still under all this new world that we're dealing with. Just try to keep your heads up. You know what's going on. You know how you're dealing with it. But please, if you need someone, you need to talk to somebody, reach out because people will listen. I'll listen. Hit me up. I'll talk to you. I don't care. But you're not alone in this. We're all going through this together. And this is where I tell you folks, be good to yourselves. Be good to the people around you. Peace.